and welcome to another episode of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. I'm your humble, gracious, curious, grateful, and highly favored host, Ryan Holtz, with my nearest and dearest, my beautiful Mrs. Holtz, Mrs. Nora Holtz.
Hi.
I feel like she always gets a kick every time I do an intro, because this is just the way we do it. We are coming live to you today to talk about why we should be kind to one another, and our good friend who's been a proponent of this message, the lovely Mrs. Ellen DeGeneres. Nora, what the heck is going on? She signs off all her shows and says, let's be kind to everyone. But now we're starting to hear that she's not very kind. What
Ellen,
is that?
Who are you?
I love Ellen, but I feel like in some ways,
we're being deceived.
we're being a little deceived.
Yeah.
And Ellen's kind of that, like,
Yeah.
I want to feel good when I think of Ellen, and I don't know if Ellen's making me feel good at this point. So what's happening there?
I don't know. I mean, any good business person is all about branding, right? How am I gonna get more viewership and listenership and all that good stuff, right? So she's always been about the be kind, I like you, I'm gonna be good to you, I'm gonna make you feel good. So we're now learning, I'm not sure why now, but we're now learning that some people don't find her to be so kind.
So, latest events, a couple of her producers left, but you've had numerous celebrities, even guests. You're hearing things like they say, you know, when she's in the room, don't look at her.
Yeah,
That's
and
so
don't talk to
crazy
her
stuff.
unless she talks to you first. And this is during like interviews. I've also heard that when it cuts to commercial on her shows, she will stop being nice to her guests and almost ignore them. I've also heard that she's told that her guests have been told, do not be funnier than Ellen. So I don't know. Like that sounds like if I was to work on that show, I would feel kind of intimidated and tense.
Well, she clearly wants to be the star and not have her star taken away. That being said, don't be funnier than the host. You know, listen, one day, soon, Ellen's not going to have a job or a show because of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. That being said, I will still be kind to Ellen because I want guests to come on the show and I want them to be funnier. I want them to be smarter. I want them to be better looking.
It makes you look good.
I want them to be more entertaining. I want them to be more knowledgeable because to me, it's like, to have a great show.
Make other people shine.
Well, and the host matters and the co-host.
Yeah.
But what matters to me more is the audience. And then it also matters about the guest. It's like mi casa, su casa. I think when I first hear, like rumors of Ellen, my thoughts were, no, this is kind of be blown out of proportion. Because when I hear things like, if she's in the room, like, don't look at her. Don't make eye contact.
Like that sounds extreme.
That's nutcase. Like you're a dictator. This is on a different level.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, just like anything else, everybody starts coming out saying, no, I worked there. I was a producer. I was an editor. I was a program director, whatever the case was. They're like, no, she's not the nicest person. And then you're having former guests. How many
shows have we been watching about like Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff? And it's like years and years later, one person comes out. Then they feel like, okay, you know what? I'm going to say something too. Like maybe all along, this is what was going on.
Listen.
I love you.
I don't understand how somebody can brand themselves as be kind.
Yeah.
And they're anything but.
Yeah.
But there's some takeaways out of here because I always look for the silver lining here. First of all, humans are humans. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people that say or do certain things to your face or to the public, and then they close the door and they turn into some sort of Jekyll and Hyde situation. And it's interesting because I was looking at Matthew Schultz. He does a podcast or a show called Brilliant Idiots. Go check out his podcast. Fantastic. Yeah. He does it with Charlemagne the God from Breakfast Club. And he was talking about Jimmy Kimmel, and he said, you know what's really nice about this COVID is he's like, oh, wow, when there's no fancy lights on, when there's no big stage, when they're not telling you to clap at jokes that aren't funny, he's like, oh, it's a real game now. We look the
Sink or
same now.
swim.
And now you're seeing all these, A celebrities doing Zoom calls in interviews from their home.
Oh yeah, and bad lighting. Yeah, look, and
who was the one girl I read about? She was doing her brand new podcast from her bathroom.
That's, Demi Moore with brown carpet.
Yeah, with brown carpet. The girl's got brown carpet. Demi Moore's brown carpet.
Get a rug, honey.
Which kind of broke the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and then she's saying, oh no, it wasn't my choice. It was Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen here, Demi. There's no judgment over here. When we first started the show, I seen her too. She had telephone books. She's like, put telephone books up to get the camera up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's a real one now.
Yes,
it's game on now. You ain't got any extras. But I think it's interesting to segue is that people right now, it's a great time to create content. It's a great time to start your show, do your podcast, start a YouTube channel. Not that I want to say that the quality is diminished, but I think it just people start to realize, well, first of all, Zoom and Skype are just as good as maybe looking at a live show. Second of all, I feel like a lot of people, they're getting less of their time wasted with all the production. They're getting to the nitty gritty of the show.
Yeah.
And I think that right now people are extremely focused on time.
Yeah.
But what's your take? I mean, you love Ellen. She has DJ Twitch. You remember the dancer?
Yeah.
Right? And he's the DJ now.
Yeah.
He kind of was in the middle of his comments. He didn't really say too much.
So this is what I think. I think that a lot of people, at least once in your life, your boss was an asshole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was probably a really, like toxic, intense environment. I think a lot of people that are in a position of authority, if they got ego and self-esteem issues, especially if they have problems at home and they come to work and they just, just abuse people, like literally, like whether it's verbally or like emotionally or, you can't do anything until you ask me. And then when you ask me, I'm going to say no anyways, right?
And listen, don't be funnier than me.
And don't look at me with that left eye.
Don't be funnier than me.
That left eye.
Don't look at me like that. When I'm when you're in the presence of Ryan Holtz, you don't look at me. I don't want you breathing the same air. Yes. I want to make sure I bought that. You don't even get my bottle of water.
No. Why are you breathing?
Yeah.
Right? So.
And if you got a bad pedicure, you better get on. Don't even come in my room.
So, but I think when you're in the spotlight, it's good to be genuine because nowadays there are cameras everywhere. There are phones everywhere. And the people have like what do they call it? Like the NDA? Non-disclosure agreements, right? But then people all of a sudden are like, hey, I used to date Ellen, or hey, I used to work for Ellen. So I think there's a reason why now you have some people that are coming out like Katy Perry and saying, hey, wait, right? Because I think she needs some allies. At the same time, I think there's a reason why she's saying to her staff, wait a second, I'm going to give you 5 more, extra vacation days that are paid. Your all your medical appointments during that time will be paid too. And now, if you have any complaints, you can be like anonymous.
Yeah.
Like she's changing her whole work environment.
But don't look at her.
Right. But don't look at her.
Don't look at her.
And don't you dare make a joke. Right. So,
and historically, I'm sorry.
Is that like an admission of guilt?
I love Ellen, but Ellen's a bad dancer. No wonder everybody's clapping and cheering her on. She's not really the best dancer. No, but now she's been telling everybody, don't be a better dancer than me. She has Twitch on. He hasn't danced a damn step since he get on the show. He's a professional dancer.
Yeah.
Brother, you're not a DJ. Ellen told you don't be a better dancer than her, and you flipped over to a DJ. I thought he was a dancer first, right?
So if Ellen wants to be successful, and keep on being successful, she really, really has to take this black cloud off of her. I'm like, from a marketing and from like a business perspective.
Anyway,
I mean, what she's doing right.
What's your thoughts of Ellen? Are you a fan? Are you still a fan? Do you think this is all BS of all the she's not really kind to everybody?
No.
And drop your comments below. Tell everybody where they can find you. We're gonna wrap this one up. This is gonna be a quick hitter. But tell everybody how they can reach out to you, my boo-boo bear, and we'll go from there.
So you can find me at Food for Love 99, and that's like mostly just food. There's no Ellen on there.
Food for Love 99 on Instagram, everywhere.
Insta,
all the socials,
and at Norholtz.
Yeah.
I personally like Ellen.
Okay.
I'm just saying, right? Okay. She makes me feel good. So, anyways.
Okay, I love that.
That's that.
And everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show. I appreciate you. The Team Holtz Squad appreciate you. This episode's been sponsored by Manscaped.com. I mean, this company has been very, very cool. Their whole slogan is "We say balls." So if you're a man out there, or you're married to a guy, or you got a boyfriend, or you got a cousin, or you got an uncle, or you got an auntie, uncle, Larry, Steri, whatever, Sherry, I don't care. If they know a man who's got some balls, some testicles, tell them to visit manscaped.com and put in the code Team Holtz in all capital letters, 20% off and free shipping. So shout out to manscaped.com. You can follow them on Instagram at Manscaped. And again, if you want to consume this podcast to see the funniness that Mrs. Holtz and I put on right now, you go to youtube.com/Ryan Holtz and you will see the full thing at your leisure. And please write a review about the podcast on Apple iTunes, 5-star. We've been having great guests. We've had, Montel Jordan on. This is how we do it. We have some big guests coming up. We have a lot of content coming up for you. This has been an excellent journey. And please give my wife, Nora Holtz, a round of applause. She makes everything happen for us. I love you so much.
FYI, this is how we are behind the scenes. Okay.
And we look at each other.
Yes.
So, Ellen, you can walk in my place. You can be funnier. You can be a better dancer. And you can always look at me. Everybody, we are over and out. And should we say be kind to everybody?
Yes.
Be kind to everybody.
Be kind to everybody.
Including Ellen.